Assalamualaikum and a very good morning, my dear students. Today, we are going to read about the story of Hansel and Gretel. Let's go. Many years ago, there was a woodcutter. He lived deep in the forest with his wife. She was a kind and gentle woman. They had two children, Hansel and Gretel. The family did not have much money, but their home was always cozy and warm, and the children always had soup and bread to eat. They never went hungry. One year, there was a terribly cold winter, and Hansel and Gretel's mother became ill, and she unfortunately died. In time, the woodcutter married another woman, but she was not kind and gentle. She was cruel and selfish. She wanted to be rich, and she wanted to eat fancy foods like roast beef, mashed potatoes, bees, corn, lemon cakes, and exotic fruits from sunny lands. She was angry that they could only afford soup and bread for every meal. Soup and bread, every day. Soup and bread. I am so tired of soup and bread, she complained. The stepmother was especially cruel to Hansel and Gretel because she believed that they were the reason the family was so poor. You children eat too much. It's your fault that we only have soup and bread. She wanted the children gone. One day, when the woodcutter was out cutting wood, the stepmother called Hansel and Gretel into the kitchen of their cottage. "There is not enough food to make soup for dinner," said the stepmother. "We will all go hungry tonight. Go into the forest and pick some mushrooms to make a mushroom soup. I know where the best mushrooms grow." Then she gave them the most confusing directions she could think of. She knew that they would never be able to find their way home. Walk north for 2 hours. Turn left at the tall trees. Walk east for 20 minutes. Continue straight ahead. Cross the stream. Turn right onto the main road. Go through the hole in the fence. Walk under the bridge. Watch out for the troll. And then, 3 months inside the forest, you will find some mushrooms under a tree. Go now, so you can be back in time for dinner. Hansel and Gretel were scared. They knew the forest was deep and dark, and that it was easy to get lost. "Don't worry, I have a plan," whispered Hansel to Gretel. He went to the back of the house and filled his pockets with white pebbles from the garden. Then the two children started walking, following their stepmother's directions. Every few steps, Hansel dropped a little white pebble on the ground. They walked for hours, but they did not find any mushrooms. "It's almost night time. I'm scared," said Gretel, crying. "Don't worry, I can find the way home," said Hansel. Hansel waited until the moon was bright. The moonlight shone through the tall trees and made his tiny white pebbles glow. They followed the trail of pebbles all the way back home. Their stepmother was furious. She didn't expect the children to find their way home. "Little fools! Where are the mushrooms?" the stepmother shouted. "Now we have nothing to eat. There will be no dinner for you tonight. Go straight to bed." The children went to bed hungry. The next morning, after the woodcutter left for work, the stepmother woke the children up. Wake up, you little fools. Today is your father's birthday. I want to make him an apple pie for his birthday dinner. Go into the forest and pick some apples. This time, I will come too. I know where we can find a big apple tree." She gave them a loaf of bread for their lunch, and then she hurried them out of the house. Hansel did not have time to collect any pebbles. But clever Hansel had a plan. He did not eat his bread for lunch. Instead, he tore it into tiny crumbs. Every few steps, he dropped a crumb to mark the path. They followed the stepmother down the path, around a corner, and through the forest. Further, further, said the stepmother. They went deeper and into the forest. They turned left, they turned right. Further, further, said the stepmother. Finally, they stopped, and the stepmother sat down to rest. She pointed to a very dark part of the forest. The apple tree is over there. Where? They called. Just a little further, called the stepmother. Hansel and Gretel walked deeper and deeper into the forest, but they still didn't see the apple tree. Where? They called a second time. Just a little further, replied the stepmother. Her voice was very faint now. Hansel and Gretel walked and walked, deeper and deeper. No apple tree. Where? They called a third time. But there was no reply from the stepmother. She was gone. Oh no, we are lost, said Gretel, crying. Don't worry, I have a plan, said Hansel. He turned around to find the crumbs, but they were gone. The hungry birds had stolen every piece of bread. I'm scared, wept Gretel, and I'm cold and hungry, and I want to go home. Don't worry, everything will be all right, Hansel said, trying to be brave, but he was scared as well. That night, the children slept in some soft bushes to stay warm. When they woke up, the sun was shining and the birds were singing. There was a sweet, delicious smell in the air. I am so hungry, said Gretel. I think I smell cookies. Look, said Hansel, pointing. A house. It was the strangest house I'd ever seen. The walls looked like yellow lemon cookies. The windows looked like they were made out of chocolate. The roof looked like it was made of green and red candies. Hansel was starving, so he ran to the house and broke off a piece of the wall. This tastes like a lemon cookie, he said, surprised. Gretel grabbed a piece of a window and stuffed it in her mouth. This is chocolate. The children could not stop eating. We'll stay here forever, Hansel declared, munching on the apple pie porch. They were just about to try a piece of the purple candy door when it quietly swung open. Hello, said an old woman from behind the door. Do you children like sweets? I have more inside the house. Come in, come in. Don't be afraid. The old woman looked kind and friendly, so the two children went inside. Oh no, bad idea. The old woman was not kind and friendly at all. She was an evil witch. As soon as Hansel and Gretel were inside, she slammed the door and locked it. The children were trapped. The witch grabbed Hansel by his wrist. You're too thin, she said. I must fatten you up before I eat you. Then she threw Hansel into a cage and locked the door. She turned to Gretel. Foolish girl, you will do the household chores. Then I'll eat you too. Hansel began to cry. Please don't eat me, he begged. But Gretel stayed calm. Don't worry, now I have a plan, whispered Gretel. Then Gretel snuck over to her brother, and she gave him a twig. Tomorrow morning, the witch will see if you are fat enough to eat. When she comes, give her this twig instead of your finger, she ordered. Sure enough, in the morning, The witch hobbled over to Hansel and growled, "Stick your finger to the cage. I want to see if you are fat enough to eat." Hansel held out the twig. "You're still too thin," she complained. "Come here, foolish girl, and give your brother more sweets to eat." This continued for an entire week. Every day, the witch checked it to see if Hansel was fat enough. Every day, Hansel held out the twig. Finally, the witch got tired of waiting. On the 8th day, she called to Gretel, "Come here, foolish girl. Light the oven. Today, I am going to eat roasted boy with carrots and gravy. Check if the oven is hot enough to roast your brother." But clever little Gretel had another plan. She started to cry. "But I am too stupid. How do I know if the oven is hot enough? Can you show me?" she asked. The witch muttered and grumbled, "Useless child. I'll check the oven myself." The witch bent down to look at the bright orange flames, and quickly Gretel pushed her into the oven and slammed the door shut. Thud! That was the end of the witch. Gretel unlocked Hansel's cage. The children found a basket and filled it with cakes and cookies, pies and candies. They ran away as fast as they could. They ran all night. They ran to the forest, they ran under the bridge, they crawled through the hole in the fence, they turned left, they turned right, left, right, left, right. Eventually, they heard the sound of someone cutting wood in the distance. It was the woodcutter. The children ran to their father and hugged him and kissed him. He cried and cried, but he was actually very happy. "My sweet, sweet children, where were you?" Hansel and Gretel told the woodcutter the whole story. When he heard that their stepmother had abandoned them in the forest, he was furious. He ordered the stepmother to leave the house immediately and never return. That night, Hansel and Gretel and their father had a late birthday party. They ate all the sweets from the basket: cherry pie, chocolate cake, green and red candies, blue lollipops, and gingerbread cookies. Later that year, Hansel and Gretel were visiting the bakery in town when they saw an old woman begging for coins. It was their stepmother. "Children, please help me. I am starving," she begged. Gretel thought for a moment. She went inside the bakery and bought a small loaf of bread and a small bowl of soup. "Here," Gretel said, "soup and bread, your favorite." Hansel and Gretel never saw the stepmother ever again. Alright, so can anybody tell me the moral of the story? I'd like to try. Okay, the moral of the story is that we should always be prepared with whatever challenges that will come our way. For example, in the story, Hansel picks up a handful of white pebbles from his house before they go out to the forest to pick up mushrooms. The pebbles are used as a trail so that he and his sister aren't lost in the forest. Very good. How about another one? I'd like to try. Another moral from the story is that we should always be grateful for our blessings, no matter how little they may be. For example, Hansel and Gretel's stepmother was very ungrateful. She only wanted to eat luxurious foods and frequently complained about their daily meal of bread and soup. Later on in the story, she is homeless and is begging on the streets. In short, we should always count our blessings because God can take away our blessings in a moment's notice. Anybody else wanted to try? I'd also like to share my take from the story. The moral of the story is we should never underestimate anyone. In the story, the witch belittles Gretel and only sees her as a useless servant. However, she is able to trick and kill the witch and prevent the death of her brother. Alright, so it seems that all of you understand what the story was about. Now, let's move on to the questions. The witch number 1, she wanted to eat Hansel and Gretel's stepmother. Let's check the answers. Anybody wanted to try? I want to try, sir. The witch wanted to eat Hansel and Gretel. That is correct. Now, to the next question. What did the stepmother plan of doing to celebrate the woodcutter's birthday? Anyone? Sir, I wanted to try. She planned to make an apple pie for the woodcutter's birthday dinner. Good job. Now, to the next question. Why did the witch capture Hansel and Gretel? Sir, the witch, she wanted to eat Hansel and Gretel. Brilliant. Now, to the next question. How did the woodcutter feel when he reunited with his children? He was very happy to see his children again. Very good. Now to the last question. What happened to the stepmother towards the end of the story? In the end, the stepmother was homeless and she's begging on the streets. Now, let's check the answers together. Alright kids, let's move on to the next story. The story is titled The Gruffallo. Let's start. A mouse took a stroll to the deep dark wood. A fox saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come and have a lunch in my underground house. It's terribly kind of you, fox, but no, I'm going to have a lunch with a Gruffallo. A Gruffallo? What's a Gruffallo? A Gruffallo? Why, didn't you know? He has terrible tusks, and terrible claws, and terrible teeth, and his terrible jaws. Where are you meeting him? Here, by these rocks. And his favorite food is roasted fox. Roasted fox? I'm off, Fox said. Goodbye, little mouse. And away he sped. Silly old fox. Doesn't he know there's no such thing as a Gruffallo? On went the mouse through the deep dark wood. An owl saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come and have tea in my treetop house. It's terribly kind of you, owl, but no, I'm going to have tea with a Gruffallo. A Gruffallo? What's a Gruffallo? A Gruffallo? Why, didn't you know? He has knobbly knees and turned out toes, and a poisonous wart at the end of his nose. Where are you meeting him? Here, by this stream. And his favorite food is owl ice cream. Owl ice cream? Tweet-twoo! Goodbye, little mouse. And away owl flew. Silly old owl. Doesn't he know there's no such thing as a Gruffallo? On went the mouse through the deep dark wood. A snake saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come for a feast in my log pile house. It's terribly kind of you, snake, but no, I'm having a feast with a Gruffallo. A Gruffallo? What's a Gruffallo? A Gruffallo? Why, didn't you know? His eyes are orange. His tongue is black. He has purple prickles all over his back. Where are you meeting him? Here, by this lake. And his favorite food is scrambled snake. Scrambled snake? It's time I hid. Goodbye, little mouse. And away snake slid. Silly old snake. Doesn't he know there's no such thing as a Gruffallo? Oh! But who is this creature with terrible claws and terrible teeth and his terrible jaws? He has knobby knees and turned out toes, and a poisonous wart at the end of his nose. His eyes are orange and his tongue is black. He has purple prickles all over his back. Oh help! Oh no! It's a Gruffallo! My favorite food, the Gruffallo said. You'll taste good on a slice of bread. Good? Said the mouse. Don't call me good. I'm the scariest creature in this wood. Just walk behind me and soon you'll see. Everyone is afraid of me. All right, said the Gruffallo, bursting with laughter. You go ahead and I'll follow after. They walked and walked till the Gruffallo said, I hear a hiss in the leaves ahead. It's Snake, said the mouse. Why, Snake, hello. Snake took one look at the Gruffallo. Oh, Grumps, he said. Goodbye, little mouse. And off he slid to his log-pile house. You see, said the mouse. I told you so. Amazing, said the Gruffallo. They walked some more till the Gruffallo said, I hear a hoot in the trees ahead. It's Owl, said the mouse. Why, Owl? Hello. Owl took one look at the Gruffallo. Oh dear, he said. Goodbye, little mouse. And off he flew into his tree-top house. You see, said the mouse. I told you so. Astounding, said the Gruffallo. They walked some more till the Gruffallo said, I can hear feet on the path ahead. It's Fox, said the mouse. Why, Fox? Hello. Fox took one look at the Gruffallo. Oh, help, he said. Goodbye, little mouse. And off he ran to his underground house. Well, Gruffallo, said the mouse, you see, everyone is afraid of me. But now, my tummy is beginning to rumble. My favorite food is Gruffallo crumble. Gruffallo crumble, said the Gruffallo, and quick as the wind, he turned and fled. All was quiet in the deep, dark wood. The mouse found a nut, and the nut was good. Alright, now that all of you have listened to the story, I want all of you to answer some of the questions that is based on the story. Question number 1. What are the characteristics of the Gruffallo? Anybody? Sir, I'd like to answer. The Gruffallo has terrible tusks, terrible claws, and terrible teeth. He also has knobbly knees, turned out toes, and a poisonous wart at the end of his nose. His eyes are orange, his tongue is black, and he has a purple prickles all over his back. Good job. Now for the second question, do you think that the Gruffallo is smart? I'd like to try. I think that the Gruffallo isn't exactly a smart creature. I mean, he's easily fooled by the mouse, and he thought that the mouse could really eat him. Alright, now for the last question, do you think that the mouse's actions were right? Give an explanation to support your answer. In my opinion, I think the mouse's action is right as he is doing it for his own survival. While his actions of lying and tricking others might seem wrong, the reason he acts that way makes a lot of sense since he couldn't really defend himself physically. Alright, since all of us have answered the questions, let's do an activity. I want you to form a group and choose one of the scenarios in the story and reenact it.
Where are you going to, little brown mouse? Come and have a tea at my tree-top house.
It's terribly kind of you, Owl, but no, I'm going to have a tea with a Gruffallo.
Gruffallo? What's a Gruffallo?
A Gruffallo? Why? Didn't you know? He has knobbly knees and turned out toes. and a poisonous word at the end of his nose.
Oh, where are you meeting him?
Here, by this stream. And his
Oh.
favorite food is owl ice cream.
Oh, ice cream. To hit to who? Goodbye, little mouse.
Silly all out. Doesn't he know there's no such thing as a Gruffallo? Alright, it's a very good effort from all of you. I'm very proud of you. Well, now we have come to the end of our class. I hope all of you guys had fun. See you tomorrow.